Hello friends, welcome to my channel Code for Self. Hope you all are doing good and happy and taking care of yourself and your family. So today we are going to discuss Terraform tutorial part 4, and the topics that we have is Terraform variables, uh, tfvars file extensions, primitive variable types and complex variable types. So uh, please see the video till end and like and subscribe the video and also share the videos with among your friends. So let's start with first thing is Terraform variable. So as we all know, the variables, because in most of programming language and same here for Terraform also, variable is a container that holds the values, and it can represent different values at different times during the program execution, and that is the whole purpose of variables. So variables can be assigned to a value which can then be changed or used during execution. So that is the property of variables that we all know. Terraform variables allow you to insert value in Terraform configuration files. So the configuration files where we have the main.tf, where we assign our resources and create that. So in that we can use the variables. They are used to store and manipulate data such as IP address, usernames and passwords. So Terraform variables define in variables.tf files. So that is the standard. We should define the Terraform variables in variables.tf file and can have multiple parameters that define how they behave. So in variables.tf file, this is the single location where we can define all your variables and can see the type of variable, the default value of variable, description of variable. So anyone if go and see for which purpose this variable is used, via description we will able to know. Some validation on variable as well as nullable. So nullable define that variable can contain null or not. So this is the property of variables. So again, type indicates the type of data that can it store into the variables. So like strings, numbers, bools, list and all. So that all things we will learn in this video. Default, set the default value of variable. So in case of if you don't assign any variable value, it pick up from the default one and run at the time of execution and take it at the time of execution. Description, I already told. This is the overview of the variable. This can be used to explain the purpose of variables or its intended use. Validation, yes, we can create rules for validating variables. Information that is sensitive or confidential, such as password or key access, so that we can put in the variables. And nullable, as I already said, indicates whether the variable can be null within the modules or not. So this is the whole thing that via practical also we are going to see as in next. So let's proceed with the demo. So in today's demo, what exactly we are going to do, we are going to create a one empty folder, okay, and open in VS Code, and we will add these four files: variable.tf, providers.tf, main.tf and variable.tfvars, terraform.tfvars. So till now I have not told you or now I have not explained you what is the purpose of terraform.tfvar. That I will explain it at the time of demo. So let's proceed with the demo. So this is our configuration files. So here I have already created main.tf and provider.tf to save our time. So in provider.tf I have already added US East. In main.tf I have already added these resources. So the resources properties you are already familiar in my past videos, and here also it is very simple. Resources is AWS instance, example, we have AMI, we have instance type, we have a tags, and similarly we have a some S3 bucket, and we have AWS IP address. So these three variables we are going to create. These are very simple variables because all names here I can see it's hard coded, it's in double quote. So these things we are going to move in different variables, and that we will see one by one. So as we learn that variables should be with the one common file that is known as variable.tf. So let's go and add variable.tfs. Okay, so in variable.tf, okay, any variable start with variable name. So I say variable, so it is asking me name. Okay, so if I say instance type, okay, so my variable name is instance type. Okay, again, as a for property that we have learned, it is having um, we have to assign it like type. So what the data type it will contain. So variable type, instance type, it will type will be, I will say string, simple I will say. Okay, what next we have? We have a description we can put. Okay, so this variable contains instance type. Okay, now we have a third variable and third property we will use, nullable or not. So I'm just going to use the default one. Default you can say um, that is T2 micro. Okay, so this is my default, this is my instance type. Okay, so if I go and see main.tf, so main.tf, this is my instance type. I say T2 micro is mentioned here, but same default value I have mentioned the T2 micro. Okay, and I will go ahead. Okay, so I have already added this provider.tf and main.tf. Okay, I have already run the command, that is terraform init and terraform plan. Okay, so our time can be saved. So right now I have added these variables. Okay, so now I'm going to check it at the time of terraform plan how it behave. Okay, so let's go and see it. If I say terraform plan, okay, so it is showing, it is giving me three to add. Okay, so right now I have not used this variable, I have just assigned the variable. Okay, so now let's go and use it. So where I am going to use it, I am going to use it here, instance type. Okay, so if I say var dot instance type, so any variable we provide var dot. Okay, so if I say var dot instance type is equal to var dot instance type. Let me more zoom it so you can better see it. Okay, so now I have assigned it. Okay, now let's go and run the terraform plan. Okay, and in between, since it is already have T2 micro. Okay, and okay, so basically I have removed it from hard-coded T2 micro, I have mentioned here T2 micro. So let's see if it works or not. Okay, so okay, my terraform plan run. Okay, now let me do terraform apply. So basically in Terraform apply, it will uh, take it from default value. So it is asking me enter a value. Okay, so I will simply add yes. Okay, so T2 micro invalid value. Okay, maybe I have done the spell mistake, so no problem. Let me go and correct it. It is okay. Let me go and see it. What was it before? Control Z. Okay, T2 micro. Okay, so let me add the same name. Okay, now it is now in main.tf I will add var.instance type. Okay, so now let me do it again. Terraform apply. Okay, yes. Okay, so now it is applied. So let's go and see it in AWS what exactly it is implemented. So let me open the AWS and refresh it. Okay, I need to go to USCH2 one. Let me zoom it so you guys can better see it. Okay, so I can see one instance is running. Okay, and that is having T2 micro. So I have used with the variable, and with applying the variable I can see my T2 micro is running now. Okay, so now let's go and see another things. So let's suppose I don't provide the default value. So what exactly it will do. Okay, so till now I'm just explaining it one by one, so please stay with me. uh, I have removed the default value. Okay, so now it is only type and description. So now if I go and first thing is let me destroy it. Yes, so it is destroying the current resources. Okay, guys, this is the first time we are taking time for destroy and creation. Furthermore, we will just see with the apply output, with the help of output variable we will able to validate all other variables. So please stay with me. Video can go a bit long, but it is important to explain it. That's why I'm taking time. Okay, it is destroying. Okay, okay, it is destroying still. Okay, it's done. So just now what I have did, I have removed the default value. Okay, and now still in main.tf I have said that take variable instance type. Okay, but I have removed the default value. So what exactly it will do if I go and apply Terraform apply plan. Okay, okay, great. So with help of plan only we will validate all our variables values. So in Terraform plan, as soon as I run the Terraform plan, since I have removed the default value, okay, and I have not provided anywhere, so my Terraform is not able to know he's okay to read the instance and read the variable value, that is instance type, but he is not understanding from where he will get the value. That's why he is asking the value. So ideally, if we have not provided any variable default value or value in our Terraform, so at runtime it will ask me the value, and at runtime I can give any value. So if I say T3 micro, okay, so it's had taken T3 micro, and it will execute all the other things, and everything is okay, and 3 is to add. Okay, I will not do apply button apply command, so we can do the quick one. So this is the one. Okay, so now just think about what if I need to provide different value. Okay, so in variable.tf it is having two things, that is type, description, and default value. Okay, but where I need to provide the exact value, so for that I have another file. Okay, and that is known as, I can put any name here. I am just putting the name of terraform.tfvars. Okay, I can put any name Terraform, but my extension should be tfvars. Okay, and same thing we have seen here. So tfvars. Okay, I have added. So in tfvar, what exactly it will go? It will go and see my instance. So whatever I have provided instance type or variable name in my variable.tf, it will automatically recognize that. Okay, and it will ask me what value do you think it need to assign. So if I say t3 hyphen micro, okay, so I'm providing exact value. So if I provide exact value, now if I go and say Terraform plan, so see, this time it doesn't ask us the variable name. Why? Because we have provided the value of variable in terraform.tfvars file. So this is the importance of vars files. Okay, now let's go and proceed for the other variable type. So we just seen there are primitive variable types. So we have a string, number, bool. Okay, string we have just seen. Okay, here in example you can see example is mentioned something like reason. So most of time we need to provide the reason in our provider.tf. So here I can give my default reason, and during runtime I can provide the reason. Okay, so another example we have just seen the instance type. So I'm not going to do the again exercise. String we have already checked. Now let's go and check about the number. Okay, so number is something like instance count. Okay, so let's go to Visual Studio again, and in variable.tf provide some instance number. Okay, so variable instance number. Okay, and again I will say type is equal to number, and I will say description. So this is instance number, and default value I can provide 2. Okay, let's suppose. Okay, so this is my variable. Now if I need to provide the value for this instance, so what I have to go, I have to go to Terraform tfvars. I have to just use Terraform number, and number I will provide 3. Okay, and if I go to main.tf, okay, and here if I just use a property that is called count, if I'm not wrong. Okay, count is equal to var dot instance number. So this count property, what exactly it will do, it will launch the number of instance. So let's suppose we have I have provided 3, so my 3 EC2 will launch, and it will read the number from here, not the default one, because I have already provided. So now let's go and do Terraform plan. Okay, so missing resource instance key. Okay, main.tf resource AWS EIP. Okay, it is showing issue. So what I will do right now, I will simply go and delete this one, remove this one, or I can comment this one. Okay, because we are validating something else, so let's focus on that only. Terraform plan. Okay, so you can see four resources it is asking to create. Okay, why 4? Because in main.tf 3 is our EC2 and 1 is S3, so we have a 4. So we have just checked the main one. Okay, now let's go and see the next variable, that is called bool. Okay, so bool is something like enabled logging bool type. Okay, so we will do it quickly. So in variable.tf I will go and provide the create the another variable, and it is okay, tag is tag enabled. Okay, and I say type bool, and description. Okay, this is for, okay, is tag enabled. We can give any name. I'm just providing this one. Then default I will say false. Okay, so this is my tag. Okay, so if I go simply and make it here is tag enabled, I can make it true. Okay, because that is my default, but I want here to true. Okay, so in main.tf if I need to check, how I can check, I can simply go and try to use our output variable, because other things we will not, we have already seen in resources how to apply it. So I will use the output we have already gone through in our previous video. If you have not, please go through that. So output is tag enabled. Okay. Okay, output. Okay, and if I need to show the variable's name, okay, value. So we have a value property, and value I am saying var dot is tag enabled. Okay, so now if I need to go and see this tag property, so simply I will go and I will execute Terraform plan. So I'm showing you the output variable. Okay, so you can see my output is 2. So basically in this way you can pass in any of property also, and now onwards we will just see the output variables only, because it will give the faster execution of our plan command, and it will save our time. So I hope till now we are clear how to create the variables, what is the purpose of terraform.tf var file, and how to use the variable. Now we are just trying to get the variable value, it is fetching or not with output variable. Okay, so this is our primitive type. Let's go and quickly check the complex variable type. So in complex variable type, we have a list, we have a map, we have an object, we have a set, we have a tuples. Okay, so list, what is list? So list properties basically are used to sequentially pass multiple elements to Terraform configuration. So let's suppose this is a very good example. So right now we have given instance type is equal to one value, maybe t2 micro. Okay, but if I have a list, okay, in this list I want as an exact value at the time of writing code, developer or anyone should select that. Okay, instead of providing his own way, or maybe t3 nano or something others, no, he need to select out of these things. So that's why this list property is there. So now just quickly go and implement the list property. So I will go to variable. Okay, and I will say variable instance type. Okay, instance type I will provide list. So my I can know via property. Okay, so my type will be list. Okay, list of string or list of object. What is the list? Right now I'm saying list of string. Okay, because in my document also I have given list of string. Okay, so now let's take the description. Description is this property will contain list of instances. Okay, so now let's go and see the default value. Okay, so default value, I am saying that what will be my default value? So it is t2 micro. Okay, and then t3 micro. Okay, so these are my two default values, but it's not required that at the time of assigning I need to select these. I can assign any value. So if I see list, so it is asking me what is your list. So if I provide, let's suppose same t2 micro. Okay, and then my next will be t3 micro. Okay, and then I will say t3 large. Okay, so these are my values. So now in main.tf how to select it? So via output command we will see. Okay, I will just copy this one so to save our time, and I will give the instance type list. Okay, Okay, instance type list output, and I will say value is equal to var dot instance type list. Okay, and here I will say either 0 or 1. Let's go and see in document. So in document it is saying, okay, so in main.tf how I will use the indexing, so 0 1 2. Okay, so let's suppose if I need to if I need to show, or if I need to pick my large one, so large one will be 2. Okay, now let's go and see in Terraform plan what exactly it is showing. Okay, see, you can see it is true and t3 large. Okay, so this way you will use the list. Now let's go to map. So what the map is, map property, map variables type creates variables holding key values pair. So that is the main important key values pairs at stake, and I'm just taking and copy pasting it. Okay, so to save our time, so if I go in the variable.tf and I simply copy it and paste it. So I'm saying my variable name is type. Okay, it is a map of type. So if I put the map, it asks us type. So type can be any type. Here I'm saying string. My default will be demo, uh, instance, and production. Okay, and in tf var files, okay, tf var. So what I can provide, I can provide any name. So if I provide tag is equal to, so tfvar, okay, I can provide any name. So I'm saying my development application dev team. Okay, so if I use to check it in main.tf as an output, so I will say var tags and environment. So environment give me my production. So basically it is a key value pair. So this is my key, this is my value, this is my key, this is value, this is key, this is value. So I can just copy paste this one in main.tf. And if I take any other example, so any other example is something owner. So if I say dev team, so I will put, because it contains key value pair, and simply I go and put Terraform plan. Okay, you can see dev team is coming. So this is the example where we are picking the variables, creating the variables and trying to show it in the output, and same way at the time of real code we can implement. Now let's go and object. So object, the object variable allows you to create variables, okay, that contains structured data with the named attribute. Okay, this is similar to map, but the attributes have fixed name and types. So in different programming language, either in .NET, C# or in Python, anytime we can see we have an object type. So object type is having fixed name, email address, and age. Okay, so I'm going to same example. Okay, and going to use it in my var.tf. Okay, so if I simply say, okay, this is the user example. So in var.tf vars, I can simply say and say users. Okay, so user, it is asking me age. Okay, so first age maybe 50. Next one is email, is a code for self at email.com, and next one is name, is code for self. Okay, so this name we have provided. Now how to use it in my Terraform? In Terraform we can use var.users. So if I say var.users, it will give me all the properties with the assigned to that object. So if I simply go and add it here, okay, let me copy this one. Okay, and let me just do Terraform plan. Okay, so you can see in output 50 all my object values come up. So this way we can use. Now next we have is set. So basically set variables allows you to define the variables that hold an unordered list of unique values. Okay, no value will be repeated. Set can be useful when you don't care about the order but want to guarantee uniqueness. This is important use case. For example, you can define a security group with the set variable. So if I security group, it is this one. So we all know that security groups need to be unique, and that's why we are using set here. So if I go and use it a set variable, okay, and security group in TF, I can simply go and say security group, okay, and I can assign the same value, okay, which is here, or maybe different also. So that is not a problem. So if I simply go and assign it, and I say 890 and something like this, I have changed the values. Now if I need to read it from main.tf, then how to use it? We will take the output and I will say security groups. So let me do that in main.tf, output security groups. So let's go and see the Terraform plan. Can we see the our variable name? Okay, so it is giving me this one, security groups. Whatever the security groups I have added, I can see that. Okay, perfect. So now let's go to next one, and this is, I believe this is the last one, that is tuples. So the tuple variable type allows you to define an ordered collection of element. Okay, before one is unordered, but this should be ordered. For example, we can define a network address variables as in tuple for two strings. So if I say variable network address, okay, and type is tuple and default is this one. Okay, so it is saying us both lists and tuples are used to store collection of data, but there is a key difference between them. And what is that? Tuples are immutable, which means they cannot be changed once created. Okay, you cannot add, remove or modify elements in tuple. Whereas lists are mutable, which means you can add, remove or modify elements after the list is created. So this is one of good interview questions that can be asked. What is the difference between list and tuples, and where we can use it? So if I simply go and create this variable.tf, okay, and in network.address I can assign this value. Okay, I can assign this value, or I can assign any value. Right now I'm assigning this one. Okay, so if I need to use it, so how to use it? Let's go and create a output variable. Let me copy this one, and I will say uh, what is the name of variable? It is network address. So network address output, and the value will be var star network address. Okay, So if I go and simply check it in my plan, okay, I can see network address both are coming. Okay, so uh, friends, till now we have gone through all the variable type for Terraform, primitive, complex variable type, as well as we have gone through this list, that is Terraform variable, what is the purpose of tfvars, primitive type, complex types. Okay, so this is all about Terraform tutorial part 4. Please subscribe the channel, please like the videos, post your comment and share it. I will be with Terraform part 5 soon, and I will share create the videos for that. Thank you so much.